Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Getting High with A-Rai. I'm A-Rai. Today we are going to talk to Mr. Meeyagee / J Cal from Bonsai Buds. Okay, 1 second while I add him to the chat. I just sent the request, so he should be here soon. Hi everyone. So this is Mr. Meeyagee / J Cal, Vice President, CEO, and head grower of Bonsai Buds out of Rhode Island. So when he accepts the request, we will go. So, well, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to Getting High with A-Rai. I'm good. I'm still very new at using Instagram Live, as everyone can see. The first 2 or 3 minutes before you get here is very awkward, painfully awkward for me and the viewers. So, hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Um, my name's Jason Calderon. I'm Vice President and CEO, head grower of Bonsai Buds. We're a medical licensed cultivator in the state of Rhode Island.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Other than that, anything else you'd like to add?
I've been doing this for a long time. Um, my background, um, I went to business school and then computer school. Um, Meanwhile, my mom was diagnosed with MS when she was 27 or 28. I was 8 years old. And from that point forward is kind of where I got my, I guess, introduction to cannabis. Um, because I can remember her, using it. Or not so much knowing what it was, but remembering that smell and remembering, kind of it being around. And then as you get older, you kind of put two and two together and you know.
Figured it.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, as I got older, I started to um, get more involved and see really what my mom was going through and dealing with. And she had lost her eyesight, she lost her feeling, she lost the ability to walk, but she got it all back. She fought and she was a fighter and she kept fighting and eventually she got her eyesight back, she got her feeling back, she got the use in her legs back. But she had to learn pretty
That's
much how to do everything all over again each time something happened. You know. But it seemed like through the whole process, I can remember like seeing her at her best always seemed to be when that smell was around. And so it was like, so as I, got older, went on into college and stuff, I started to get more interested in it, doing a lot of research and studying and learning it, and eventually wrote a few papers on it, and so I started early, and I
that's
kind of have been in the background for a long time, um, until Rhode Island decided that they were going to finally allow a medical program, and I finally found out about that, and I was one of the first I don't know 1,000 patients or inside, I don't even remember. I was early on. What was that?
when did they legalize it?
I think it was 2007 when we got medical.
Holy shit. That's 9 years before Florida got medical.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about the cannabis laws there?
So we have um, decriminalization. So possession up to an ounce. Well, actually, possession below an ounce
Yeah.
is a misdemeanor. And not, excuse me, it's not a misdemeanor. It's a ticket fraction.
Okay.
So there's no criminal side to it up to an ounce.
Uh,
Over an ounce, now there's different story. It's kind of crazy because we still have archaic laws as far as possession and manufacturing and cultivation of cannabis outside of the medical program. I mean, like there's some pretty. If you go on normal, you can see, what the universal across the board for every state is. I don't know exactly off the top of my head. It's been a minute since I looked at it, but you can see there's some serious penalties still involved with it. But with everything that's going on, they basically given them kind of like a hands off approach, unless you're large scale or doing more than what you should be doing for your individual self.
yeah. You're like trafficking or something.
Yeah, you're cultivating and distributing to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. I mean that's not going to fly. Um,
Can everyone grow there?
uh, so only if you're a medical patient, and then only if you purchase tags. So Rhode Island does a tag system. So as a patient, you're allowed to grow 12 plants, 12,
12?
12 mature plants, and 12 immature plants.
You can have four in Canada. Four mature plants.
Yeah, so you can have 12 here, which is nice. They've been very generous in our medical program, I will say.
Yeah.
Although they've tried lots of times to reduce it, they've always sided with the patients and always left it hesitant. So, you're allowed 12 and 12. And that's basically to keep you on a perpetual so that you can continue to have your own supply, which is what the ultimate goal of it is.
So in Florida, where I live, we don't have home grow.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't legalize it at all. It was in the original bill, and then they rewrote it and didn't legalize it. And you have to buy a card, and you have to keep that card active, and you have to go to a doctor every 7 months.
It's the same practice here in Rhode Island. So in Rhode Island, you can obtain a medical card, either through your own primary care doctor or there are cannabis doctors. Um, if you do it through your own primary doctor, then it's a once a year thing that you have to do it. You don't have to have a follow up. It's just your once a year annual is fine. If it's not your primary care, if it's like a medical doctor or some, a cannabis doctor or something like that, then they want you to do a 6 month follow up. And it's just really a check in, follow up with the doctor just to make sure that you really do have an established relationship. So does it work? I guess. But I mean, it's still you still have to do it once a year or once. The renewal of the license is once a year,
Yeah.
but
I was say, is it?
follow up or not depends on the primary care or if it's a new doctor.
It sounds very similar to Florida, minus we don't have home grow. So, I
Right.
mean,
But plus, in Florida, you can do everything online.
yes, we
Here,
can.
when it's not, that's not the case. You have to go. You got to get fingerprint. You got to do this. You have to go there. You have to drop stuff off. You have to go there. You got to get your picture taken. It's a completely different entity.
Yeah, no, we did everything online other than going to the doctor. But actually, the last two times I've seen my doctor, it's been
First,
on Google.
yeah, yeah. Which is, I think, going to become a more common practice in general.
Definitely. Supposedly, I've heard, I go to a lot of doctors. So, in one of my doctor's offices, I heard that doctors have been trying to get this mobile doctor thing going for a while now, and it just didn't really take off, or something, I can't really remember, but Corona happened and then they were just able to do it all. So doctors are happy that they're finally getting to do mobile. Um, okay. So do you grow indoor or outdoor?
So Rhode Island, you're only allowed to grow indoor. The law stipulates that it cannot be visible um, from the public. So you can have greenhouses if you have like fencing that blocks it, obscures the view of it. But it still has to be, locked, enclosed by a fence or, other means. So it's predominantly indoor. There is no outdoor allowed.
Goodness, that's wild. Yeah, I think some people grow in like hoop houses, greenhouses, but yeah, I think outdoor. Wait,
Yeah.
what?
There's greenhouses, there's hoop houses, but they must be in a like secured
Yeah.
enclosure. There are a couple. There's one facility I know of here that has like greenhouse roof. The building is regular around the four sides, but it's greenhouse roofed. Um,
Probably cool looking.
yeah, it's pretty
Um,
cool.
so do you grow like dirt or hydroponic?
So we are considered ourselves craft growers. We grow in soil. Um, you know, strict attention to each plant. It's not. We typically in like 1,000 square foot room have maybe 50 plants max. Um, yeah, so we really, we pay attention to each. We want to get the max yield and the absolute best quality.
Yeah. That was one of my questions too. Do you grow for quality or quantity? You answered that.
Yeah, well, first and foremost is quality. That's what we do. We're building a brand here, and we want our brand to be tried and true, and we want consistency, and we want you to have the absolute best experience that you can have with cannabis,
Yeah.
and that's what we strive.
Okay. That's awesome. I'm glad that you grow quality and not quantity.
Yeah,
So what? Sorry.
so that's kind of why we like the soil. We try to replicate as close to Mother Nature as we can. So we're trying to allow that plant to grow in its natural environment, and we think that will give you the absolute peak of what that plant can provide. Every plant's different, and what they provide you is different. Depending on what the cultivar is. So we want to get the max. We want that plant to be its best. We want it to live its best life, and we want that to transpire over to the end user, which is the patient for us. And we grow everything like I'm supplying it from my mom, and that's
Amazing.
how I do it. So
Goodness. I'm glad that you pay so much attention to each plant. That's why your plants look so incredible.
thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. So this is a silly name I get, or sorry. This is a silly question considering your name, but do you grow from seeds or do you use all clones?
So we, our ultimate goal is to have everything get down to clone form. But in order to do that, then you have to seed hunt. We don't do secondhand clones. We don't buy clones from anybody. We don't take clones in. We do all our own hunting. We try to use a handful of real well-known, real established breeders that have real great reputations, and their end products, back up, everything that they do. And so we try to, um, you know, select when we need to. Once we have a pretty good staple, like right now, I think we have 14 strains we're running that we've hunted that were started out as 181 different cultivars that we narrowed down to 14.
From 100 and something?
181 to
How
14.
many hermaphrodites did you get? Did you get a bunch?
I probably had maybe 4 or 5 hermaphrodites. That's why I say really the consistency in the growers. You know, I mean that speaks to volumes. And I could say out of those 14 that I kept, I probably could have kept another 25 more. But when you have two side by side and you can select from one or the other, and you're just like, wow, this one just has that much more it factor, then you know we do that because it's hard to have that many cultivars running at one time.
That's
Uh, and then we're constantly hunting. You know, that's what we use the lab here for. Is, you know, we're continually hunting, and if something gets that wow factor, then we'll bring it into production. But if it doesn't, then it never makes it out of here.
Oh my goodness. So, can you walk me through like your typical day at the grow or in this room? Either or.
So, I mean, a typical day in the cultivation facility, I mean, would vary by which employee you asked. There's 10 of us in our facility. It's a 8,000 square foot facility. Currently, we're operating 2 flower rooms and 1 bedroom. We have our third flower room that's getting ready to go up into production now, and then we'll be at capacity for that building. So at that point, we'll probably need a few um, more hands in the garden. But so a typical day will vary really by what your role is in the company, what you do. Um, we have people that tend to the gardens daily. We have people that trim daily. We have people that, harvest when they're not trimming. I mean, it's we have utility people. We have our extraction people that that's all they do all day is deal with all forms of extraction. So it varies, but typically on my day starts. I'll enter the building and I'll open up, make sure my music's going, which it should still be playing because I always keep music going for the ladies, and
Oh,
and then I'll start. I'll go in. I'll change. I'll put on my scrubs. Get prepared for the day. I usually try to get there, ahead of everybody, and if I can. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but most of the time I try to get there ahead of everybody,
but everyone.
and then I start in the first room. I built and designed the building, so I laid it out to be efficient. So when you walk into the cultivation part of the facility, immediately, to the left, it's a giant bedroom. If you can envision our building, it's set up like a hospital where there's a large corridor and then there's doctors' offices on
Yeah.
each side of the corridor. So that's kind of what our facility looks like. So I walk into the bedroom and I make sure that everything's going great. You want to walk in there and see everybody happy. And my first thing I do is inspection. I just do a complete walk around and I visit every plant in the bedroom and make sure everything's happy, and then after I've done that, I'll look and I'll see if there's anything that's going to need water or anything in that room for the day, and just get it kind of like an idea of what needs to be done in that room for the day, and then I'll move on and then I'll go to the next room. Typically, our kitchen prep area, which is where we house our vacuum freeze dryer that we use for our hash to freeze dry our hash.
Gosh.
Yeah, yeah. So that's where we start with. That's the base of all of our concentrates. Start with hash.
Yeah.
Uh, so I'll check that out, visit that room, make sure everything's working properly, or check timers, stuff like that, and then I'll move on and I'll go to the next room, and eventually I'll make my way to the first flower room, and everything starts with an inspection. And then once I've inspected everything, by that time usually staff's here, and we always start the morning off with with our morning breakfast, which consists of with cannabis. So we get our heads right, our minds right. We all get on the same page.
I get ready for work.
Yeah, we get ready.
Really?
Exactly. That's where we can talk about anything. If anybody had any questions, or most everybody knows what's going on the next day from the previous day. Um, but we kind of want to regroup and just make sure everybody's on the same page. And from that point, everybody will start and head off to whatever they're doing for that day. Um, and then I'm bouncing around and jumping in and visiting all the employees and helping them or do what they're doing, or I'm doing my own thing, and then I'll bring one of them in to help me. It just varies really from day to day depending on which stage we're in. We operate right now with the 2 rooms we harvest monthly, so it's almost like an
30.
assembly line. Every step that leads up to the harvest, and then you're doing that in increments of 4 weeks because the next harvest is getting ready, and so it's
That's
it's like an oiled machine. Once you get things rolling right.
okay. That's awesome. How many days from like the beginning until harvest does it take you in dirt?
So the way we operate, like I said, we start from clone.
Yeah.
So we typically take our clones in week 4 of veg. We'll get the next round laid out for the next room. And once we've taken our clones, then those set of plants will be prepped and getting ready to move into their next stage of life, which will transition them into a flower room. That happens typically a week after we've cloned from them. We give them, a week's rest to recover from us taking clones from them, and then they'll prep to move into the next room. So, we have everything in stages. So typically, it's from start to finish. From flower is 8 weeks. And we have our veg staggered so that the plants overlap so that they're ready on that 8th week to move into a flower room. From start to finish, a clone to the time it goes into a flower room is about 4 to 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
And then they have 7 to 8 weeks in the flower room to finish.
Yeah.
So the whole process is about 12 weeks from the time that clone is taken till it's harvested.
That's not bad at all.
No, it's not. And as long as you have your veg room on point, and you have everything aligned and ready for the next cycle, and you have everything staggered correctly, everything moves into its stage right. It's at the right height. It's at the right size. It's healthy. It's ready to move into its next stage, so on and so forth. And it's
Yeah.
provided us with a seamless transition and 100% sellout rate. So we don't have any complaints.
No. I need to go to New Jersey, or I need to go to Rhode Island and try it.
I'll tell you,
I need the medical card to try it in Rhode Island.
see, Rhode Island is a reciprocator of licenses, so we recognize any other state's license.
That's awesome. I don't know if Florida has
No,
that.
no, Florida doesn't have that. A lot of states don't have that. There's only a few of them that do.
That's amazing.
Michigan does. There's a couple others that do as well. Um, but Rhode Island, lucky and fortunate enough, allows that. So if you are an out-of-state patient, you are allowed to use our in-state dispensaries.
I need a vacation to Rhode Island now. It's the place I never knew I needed to go.
Oh man, you're missing out. I'll tell you, Rhode Island is like a gem most people don't know about. or won't ever know about, because when you say Rhode Island, everybody assumes Long Island and they think New York.
Yeah,
And
I've never been to New York.
you hear it so many times that, you agree with them. You're like, yeah, it's all right. uh,
Yeah.
but we have everything here. It's a crazy place. We have mountains, we have oceans, we have lakes. It's a pretty wild place.
And you have weeds, so that
And
makes it
we have cannabis, exactly.
that's fucking awesome. Okay, so what's your favorite kind of bud? Like, do you like sativa, indica, or hybrids? Like, what do you like to grow?
So I um I prefer to grow hybrids into indicas. And it's not anything other than really the time frame.
Yeah.
Um, the more sativa you get into, the longer the time frame. Uh,
Really?
and it doesn't particularly work well with um, our stage formula.
Yeah.
Because we really would have to dedicate, an isolated room or something to those type of plants. So we don't we do sativas, but we'll get sativas that have a shorter flowering time. Which we've been fortunate to find a couple that are 70% sativa that we can get to finish in 7 to 8 weeks. So,
I didn't.
but I mean, I like hybrids. I like indicas. I like them all. I really do. I would grow everything if we didn't have the kind of time frame that we have to put things in.
Yeah. If you didn't have to stay on schedule, you'd be able to grow it. Um,
Exactly.
do you add anything to your dirt? Like, I mean,
Yeah, so we use a few amendments. We use bat guano. Um, we use a nitrogen-based bat guano in early stage of vegetation, as well as earthworm castings. Um, and then we use advanced nutrients. That's the nutrient line we run from start to finish. In addition to those two soil amendments we said. Um, we like the control of advanced. It's really a dialed in week by week formula. So it really allows us to give that plant its optimal nutrient every week. What it wants week by week. And it's a pretty controlled formula. It's a lot of parts. It's a lot of work, but we think it's worth it.
it sounds worth it because your plants sound incredible and they look incredible.
Thank you.
Do you hand water them or are you on like an automatic system?
So we do a hybrid system. So we run a dosatron system that does all our mixing of our nutrients, and it does all the formula, all the calculations. It mixes it all, and then it directs to the wand, and then we hand wand water, um, which allows us to get that one-on-one with every plant. We really try to make it a focal point to visit that plant a couple of times a day. And why not water, and you're spending quite a bit of time with that plant while you're watering it, so it gives you a lot of time to evaluate it, check it out, make sure it's doing well. And
Have
but we
to.
still do have the automation, and we do have the ease of the nutrients being mixed automatically and sent to us. So it gives us that automation, but it also allows us to be hands-on.
Yeah. Hands-on's pretty awesome. You get to talk and spend time.
Absolutely. We when we talk, we expel carbon dioxide.
They
Plants
just
love carbon dioxide. So the more time you spend with them, the healthier they're going to be, you know?
goodness. I had a great question. What kind of music do you play for them when you play music for them?
It varies, so it depends what the employees pick for the day. I mean, each employee will kind of pick something different. I mean, we do a lot of island music, a lot of reggae, rhythm and blues. We have soul music. over the weekends, I'll throw some heavy metal on there.
It's
We
like
try to mess with the vibrations, because plants, they feel vibration, and we think it helps and speeds the things up. And
we
I I
we
know
all
the utility it has.
project.
What's that?
We all did that eighth grade science project where you had to play music for your plants, or someone in your class did it, and it helps them grow if you play music for them and if you talk to them. So we all know that stuff's good for plants.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So many people don't do it.
That, well, I mean, that's why we consider ourselves craft growers, and it's not, we don't grow for, it's not, the bud that, or the cannabis that we produce isn't for everybody. I mean, there is different variations and different tiers of cannabis, and there's a market for everybody, and we need, large scale cultivations just as much as we need craft growers. And but we try to grow for those select, you know, cannabis connoisseurs that really appreciate what they're consuming, and that's what we try to provide that medicine for those people.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. What's how much does it cost to buy?
So dispensary prices out here, they vary. It varies from, I've seen $6 a gram up to, I think I've seen $18 a gram. $25 eighths up to $50 eighths, 55 maybe dollar eighths.
Okay,
It's not um,
that's
it's
not
not
bad.
crazy. I mean, they really have, done a decent job at trying to make it affordable for patients. And they always have, alternatives. Not alternatives, but they have different price point stuff.
Yeah.
You can go in there and you can get something off a high tier, or you can get something off a lower tier. And it doesn't necessarily mean that something on the lower tier tests lower. It just means that they're giving you a break that day, or they're they're giving back. You know, so they do a pretty decent job on it. We have Mass that's next to us that's recreational, and you have astronomical prices. So you definitely get to see that they are doing something to help.
That's odd. I mean, oh, there's just a recreational place right by you guys.
So Rhode Island doesn't do rec, but
Oh,
Massachusetts, which we border with,
oh,
recreational. So literally, you can drive 15 minutes for some people, or some people literally can step out of their yard across the street and be in Massachusetts, where they have rec, and you can go to a rec place. So it's very challenging, I'd say, because Rhode Island being so small, surrounded by Massachusetts being so big. But I think we're definitely heading towards recreation.
yeah. Hopefully, the entire country is headed.
Well, we've definitely tipped the scales on states that have some form of cannabis use. So it's
Definitely.
only a matter of time.
Oh, no, you broke up again. I can't hear you. Oh, you came back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Somebody tried calling
Uh,
me. So
that's what happened to me, and it got totally kicked off. So I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. I didn't even know that setting existed.
I didn't know.
I had no idea. I had to ask Siri, how do I turn on Do Not Disturb? And he just turned it on for me.
No.
So, how do you control humidity in those rooms?
Um, so we use commercial um, dehumidifiers.
Yeah.
Um, we use currently we're using Quest 225 dehumidifiers. We use multiple in each room. So we have full control of humidity. We can set it to whatever we want to and keep it there.
What's your humidity level like?
So we actually, it's changed over the last couple of years. We migrated to LED lights, so we now had to run a little bit warmer temperature and a little bit higher humidity. Um, to offset for the lack of heat from the LED lights. So now we typically run between 58 and 60% humidity and right around 80 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. 80 degrees. Yeah, 60 seems to be like the general what most people are running with.
Yeah, and then, I mean, we taper it down in the flower, once it's heading toward the latter weeks, we start to drop the humidity down. And ultimately, we like to finish at about 50% humidity the last 2 weeks.
Okay. So you talked about your lights and you switched to LED lights. What kind of lights are you using?
So right now we use second generation Fluent Spider RX Pluses. Um, a tremendous light, great light. The problem is they were bought out by a larger company, and since then they've gone to a different product. So I'm assuming that they don't make the other product anymore, but they do still have stock inventory on it. And then now we're demoing some new lights by TSR. It's a local company here in Rhode Island. And so far we're having tremendous results with it. But we love it. We love these LED lights. I'm a huge fan, like I said, of that second generation Spider RX Plus.
Your light.
And now I'm really happy with these new TSRs. So, we'll see.
How many days or how many hours of daylight versus like dark do you give it? Do you give them?
So when they're in the veg room, in early propagation and in the veg, they're on an 18-hour light and 6 hours of darkness. Once we've moved them into a flower room, then we move them to a 12-12 cycle.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool. Um, I'm like, what's my next question? Because I don't remember any of this stuff. Have you ever had like a pest problem?
No, no, knock on
No.
wood. No, we strive on keeping a clean environment. When I
Yeah.
told you it looks like a hospital, it looks like a hospital. It's white walls. They're um, they're silicone coated. They epoxy coated. So everything's washable. Everything's constantly sterilized and cleaned. And we also use clean leaf systems that are in all the rooms that filtrate the air and get rid of any pathogens or any type of stuff like that. So we keep the environment clean and keep the pests out.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So do you want to tell me a little bit about like your extracts?
Yeah, I mean, so we pride ourselves on our extracts. We have one of the world's renowned extractors, Mr. Bond. Mr. Bond 420, that's his Instagram if you guys want to follow him.
Hold on,
Um,
Miss.
he's been in the world. He's made hash for legends.
I wrote it down.
He's he's the hash man.
Oh, maybe I can interview him next.
So everything we do is ice water extraction.
Yeah.
Um, we do bubble hash, and then it gets put into the freeze dryer. Once it's freeze dried, some of it's stored, some of it's pressed into rosin, some of it's pressed into diamonds. We do different variations of hash rosin, hash diamonds, but it all starts out as hash.
Do you do like any press?
We do. We press rosin.
Yeah.
We
Couldn't remember the name for a second, even though you just said it.
yeah,
Mashy one.
we do everything we do is solventless, solventless extraction. So we don't use any chemicals, anything like
In
that. It's ice,
oil.
it's ice and water. And
Yeah.
then once we have the hash, then like I said, we can press and make rosin. We make tier one, grade A, out of this world rosin. I mean, I only think I have a little bit in this. Oh yeah, it's not even enough. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. It's gonna shadow.
Oh, I see a
But
little
it's
white.
like white beach sand.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and the terpenes are through the roof, through the roof. Um, so we pride ourselves on our hash. We pride ourselves on our flower. We really have worked to put a team together that prides themselves on quality and on any different phase of whatever we do, whether it's the trimmers, whether it's the harvesters, whether it's the extraction. I mean, we try to pride ourselves and give a tier one, grade A product to whoever's going to get it.
You sound like a wonderful company to work for, and anyone can tell from your Instagram that you have incredible products. Do you guys have a website? Is that on your Instagram?
So we do have a website that's in production. We haven't done the official launch on it yet. Right now, we are in the process of putting our apparel line together. Um, so once the apparel line's finished, which is coming up here shortly, we're going to do a grand opening on the website and do a mass launch. So I'm not really giving any details on the website right now.
Uh, okay.
But if you want to follow us, at Mr. Meeyagee, we'll keep you updated.
Yeah. No. I'll definitely stay a very loyal follower because everything you post is absolutely amazing.
Thank
So
you.
you guys are doing a great job out there in Rhode Island. I forgot for a second. I forget everything.
That's all
But
right. It's the nature of the game. It's
that's why I had to have a whole sheet of questions because, whew. But yeah, thank you so much for meeting with me and doing this interview with me. I've learned so much. I need to start writing everything down.
yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh my
No,
God.
I mean you'll find in the industry there's a lot of good people that are willing to talk and share and try to help people out that are new and up and coming and trying to you know get their own thing going.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn in preparation for Florida ever legalizing home grow because we're trying Sunshine Cannabis. You can follow them on Instagram. They are working in connection with True Leave, I think, but they're trying really hard to get recreational passed here the next voting cycle. So we have to get on the ballot.
Well, there you go. And
Oh,
I want to give a shout out to one of our other growers at East Coaster Dam. Definitely give a follow to him. The guy's a whiz, knows his stuff. Great guy to have. A lot
yeah.
of great part of the team. New addition. He just started with us about 2 weeks ago. So give him a follow. East Coaster Dam.
I think that might be how I found you.
Is that how you? Yeah. So see, I mean,
Found you, and yes, it's very awesome.
yeah.
Oh,
Follow Mr. Bond.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I wrote down Mr. Bond on your little paper. Oh, but yeah, thank you so much for doing this with me. And hopefully we will talk again soon if you have any other like products or anything coming out. If you just want to talk, hit me up.
Absolutely. It's been fun. I appreciate it. Thank you for having us on and thinking about us and stay in the loop. Follow, keep following us, guys. We're gonna be doing big things.
Ooh, I can't wait to see you guys do big things. You have a wonderful night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, guys.